I am a small business owner. I've been a small business owner since September 2004. I pay taxes. I pull several employees in every now and again. So I speak from a small business perspective. I am 100% behind entrepreneurship. One of the things that I was sent around the country and while I was at Goodwill Industry Grid of Detroit is about entrepreneurship and how it works in other facets of this country. Entrepreneurship works in the East Coast. It works in the West Coast. We have yet to try that with our population, specifically here in Detroit in the central region of the United States. As a person who has been a case manager, who has been a job developer for hundreds of individuals in this community, in Wayne County community, many of them from Detroit, Michigan, I've seen firsthand some of the components of getting people jobs, some of the hardships and issues that people face. Most people, if they qualify themselves for a job, most of them unfortunately cannot pass in your analysis. Other people who do qualify for a job and may perhaps get the job, they don't have licenses, they haven't paid the responsibility fees, they don't even have transportation to get out into those jobs. Many of them are in Sterling Heights, many of them are in Madison Heights, many of them in Troy, Livonia, Michigan, and we don't have the bus system, the transit system that will allow individuals adequate enough time to get to that particular job on time. So one thing that I propose, and I was the first one to propose this publicly, is entrepreneurship. How can we do entrepreneurship? We have 80,000 residential homes and commercial buildings that are abandoned in the city of Detroit. We have dollars that are allocated for the improvement of this in the city of Detroit that no one's talking about. I propose that we create our own giant flea market similar to the one that you have on 8 Mile and DeQuinder. Give these people the opportunity to set up. First of all, you give them entrepreneurship training, first and foremost. How to set up a business, how to identify a legal structure of a business, how to do your articles of incorporation with the state of Michigan, paying whatever fees you have to pay. I think it's $25, $5 for an insignia. Whatever it may be, you train them how to do this. You train them how to do a business plan. You train them about location, you train them about taxes, you train them about employee, you train them about following a flow chart, you train them about doing payroll. All of those are part of the training, and then you help them set up a business of their own. I look at Detroit as having some type of giant flea market in one of our many abandoned buildings. Setting that up, having individuals pay a booth fee, also pay rent. We can take care of the overhead expenses with those particular fees, and also create incentives for them to do business with each other and keep those dollars flowing in our own community. Detroit is probably one of the #1 cities where if you go spend some money at the gas station, that money is going to go immediately out of our community, and it's going to go into the proprietor's bank, which sits probably outside our community to benefit who? Their community and his family. So we want to create dollars circulating inside our community. We can do that with entrepreneurship. So I want to create a task force that will go out, that will work, #1, work with communities, organizations who are bent upon entrepreneurship training. I also want to work with whoever the mayor is, it doesn't matter who it is, with the programs that come out of the mayor's office for entrepreneurship training. I want to be the voice for entrepreneurship. Why? Because it has worked in every other facet of this country. We have not tried it in the city of Detroit. So as a city council person, we can create, #1, we can do this. We can start looking at contracts from small businesses, from city workers in Detroit. Too often contracts don't go to city workers for whatever reason. I can't get into the mindset of the incumbents and why they don't allow contracts to be approved, responsible bidded contracts to be approved in the city of Detroit. We have to look at the contract. Many people have some great ideas and have some good companies, and although they may be small in number and may not have all the capital, we should give them a chance. Especially if they have got a good business plan and they presented themselves extremely well from A to Z. So working with the mayor, with the mayoral programs, the programs coming out of the mayor's office, creating a task force that will help in entrepreneurship in the city of Detroit. Get statistics, get logistics, see where we can go, see how we can use federal dollars. Mayoral control over other cities typically has worked. It has improved the academic, excelled the academics of the students who were in a school district that was overtaken by mayors. Baltimore, I believe Chicago, I believe LA. But to compare the city of Detroit with other cities, it's not apples and apples. We have a different dynamic in the city of Detroit. It's more so like grapes to plums, if you will. And another thing, the reason why those children were more successful academically up under the mayoral control is because those cities' deficit was decreased. Ours is not decreased. We have a $300 million plus deficit. We met 13 of the new candidates, 13 of us who are not incumbents, who are running for Detroit City Council candidate, met with the current mayor, Dave Bean. He indicated to us that he is not ready to take on Detroit public school system. He has so much on his plate with the city of Detroit's deficit, and to put the Detroit public school deficit on him, it would probably be very inconsequential. So since he does not want the job and has clearly stated to us that he is not ready for that, then I would be a fool to vote that he should get it when he himself has said he should not get it. However, I am for whatever works. And if there's a different mayor who says that he or she would like to take on the DPS, and if the budget deficit in the city of Detroit is down, I will be the first one on the city council to revisit that particular issue. There should be a board of education. There should be a liaison, if nothing else, between the mayor's office and the Detroit Board of Education. There should be a responsible superintendent who has, I don't want to say political ties, but Rob Bob is coming in and he's shaking things up, whether we like him or not. He's earthing and extirpating a lot of things that we didn't know existed in DPS, such as exuberant amount of Blackberries that were ordered, computers that were ordered, motorcycles that were ordered, and ghost employees. Now, that's just one department of the city of Detroit. How many other departments have ghost employees and people who've been stealing, not necessarily from our babies, but just stealing, period? So if we have a responsible superintendent that can do that, we don't need a room for a financial emergency manager. We don't need the Lansing to come in. We don't need the federal government to come in. We can do our own policing, because that's what responsible leaders do. They're not bought and paid for. They're not persuaded by political connections and who support me or who endorse me or who contributes to my campaign. So we need, in my humble opinion, Catherine, we don't need to infringe upon a system that's already set up, but we need to strengthen that system so that we won't have any type of what I call imposters and agents coming in, stealing from us right before our eyes. When you talk about juvenile justice, from a city council perspective, as a man, a community man, community activist, I see a whole lot. As a elected official, what I can do from the city council perspective to help in the waywardness of our young people. Number one, open up some recreation centers. When the recreation centers were open, crime was down. I think Sheriff Benny Napoleon will agree with me when I say that. When our young people had something to do, I want to legislate that. People talk about that you can't legislate morality. That's another story. I'll argue that down any day. But I want to legislate for these young people to do something in our city. We have no bookmobiles. We have no swimmobiles. We have no intramural activities to properly address the natural aggressiveness of our young people. We have nothing. We take. We become political cheap prostitutes to other forms of regionalism or regional cooperation, whatever you want to call it. And at the same time, we take it from a people and they have no hope. They have no inspiration. As a city council person, I can instill hope. I can instill inspiration by creating ordinances in our city, creating legislation that was going to create more activities for our young people, creating task force that will work with community organizations and community groups that will have things on the ball for our young people. As a city council person, elected official, we can help legislate activities that will promote change in our culture. That's something that no one's talking about. That's something, according to the books, according to the charter, as a state elected, as elected official, I can do, we can do. And if I can convince 5 other people on that city council table to accept my ideas and concepts, we can definitely move this city forward, and we can put a dent in the crime. But it has to be elected. It has to take place through our clergy, our responsible, accountable spiritual leaders, our communities, through our task force coming up out of the city council programs, and also our law enforcement. No single entity can put a dent in crime. We've tried. So it's got to take all of those entities. It's got to take our elected officials. And it's got to take our accountable spiritual leaders. It's got to take law enforcement. In order for us to curb crime, we have to reinvest in humanity.